And yeah, so welcome to the session about working with found sets. My name is Fabrice Nordmann. I live in Belgium, and I founded One More Thing, which is a FileMaker consulting company in Belgium and France. Also, some of you know us as fmcloud.fm, the hosting service. And more recently, abcinvoice.eu, which is a European electronic invoicing as a platform with easy integration with FileMaker. If you're more interested, you can just snap the QR codes, or we have a booth just around the corner. So, the agenda of this session is first, before talking about the agenda, why does this session exist? I'm in the process of, I'm thinking that at Claris we should focus on why people love FileMaker so much. Right, we are always, I mean, I guess you, as much as I do, like to have new features. New features are exciting and so on, but in the end, there's never a real in-depth thought about how come that so many people have been using this tool for 30 years, 20 years, and love it so much, and don't want to use anything else than FileMaker. This is a gem that they have, and I think they should focus more on that. Try to really understand what is so specific in FileMaker that no one else has, and makes it so easy, so understandable by any human beings. And the found set is one of these concepts, of this extraordinary concepts that they imagined when they created FileMaker back in the early 80s. So I'm doing my part of the job by trying to think about what do we have here and that we use daily, and how is it magic. So the agenda of the session is the definition of the concept of found set. I'm sorry, the screen is a little bit small, so I hope you can see. If not, do not hesitate to come here in the front. We'll make the difference between what's show all records and find all records. We'll explore some things that you can do with the found set, so something you found already or omitted. And you're supposed to laugh here, but I think you drank too much last night, so. Okay, so for instance, you have delete all versus delete found records. What can you do with the constraint found set and the sort order? And well, we'll explore a few of these things. Most of them you know them, or you think you know them and that you will check again next time you need it. So at least this time we'll have it written down. So what can you do with a found set? And we'll end this session with a series of techniques about a very old and still ongoing challenge that we have. It's about restoring found sets for the purpose of exchanging those sets, or having a navigation history, or all that kind of things. So we'll explore those techniques, storing a list of primary keys and using GTRR, go to related records. The rustling technique, which appeared with FileMaker 7, and I think Bob Russell, or Bob Russell? Oh. Yeah. Who invented this. It's great technique that we still use. Although now with 22, you'll see there's a new technique. Then the snapshot links. And finally, what's new with FileMaker 2025, they go to list of records. Okay? So first, what is a found set? A found set, again, it's a unique FileMaker concept. So let's do it interactive. So what's your ID? What's your ID? What would it be?
List of record IDs? I would guess it would be a list of record IDs.
A list of record IDs. Okay.
Certain context.
Yeah, so
A found set is a set of records in a certain context, in a window.
oh, very, very good. Yes, I like that very much. I'll come to that. This is very, very precise. So it's a finite set of record. And I underlined finite, right? It's very important. So it's a set of records. Oh, but I didn't put an S. That's a mistake. It was not intentional. Sorry for the typo. It's kept in memory until you change it. That's very, very different from almost every other tool that you might use, right? You don't have to query again and again every time you want to look at a new record. You find, you do a request, and then you get a set of records, and then you can browse through them. So until you change it by modifying the request, you keep this found set. It's for a given table occurrence, okay? And it has a sort state. Okay, that's included in the found set. So a sort state, just a quick reminder, we have unsorted, there's no sort state, right? We have semi-sorted and sorted. Does everybody remember what semi-sorted is? It happens, it's less and less, we use it less and less because before you could not store the sort order, if you remember, when you use old version, when you used to sort records, the sort order was not maintained, so if you would create a new record, it would appear just at the bottom of it, right? That would be a semi-sorted, so you sort some records, but new records in the found set are not sorted. The same situation still happens if you show all records, and you sort records, and other users on the network create records. So these records are not sorted. That's semi-sorted. And of course it has an order, which means that's important. It sounds stupid, but at the very end of the session you'll understand it means, there are sort criterias, right? It's not just records in a certain sequence. It has criteria, like you can sort by name, by this on that. There's something very new with FileMaker 2025, so we'll explore that. What is not part of the found set is the current layout, right? So the found set is going to be restored on any layout of that table occurrence. Okay, so it's not dependent on the layout. It's dependent only on the table occurrence. It's not for this typical window. You can restore a found set in a different window, right? That was just where we have a small disagreement. And the current record within the found set is not part of the found set. Right? It's all the things are listed, including the found set and what is here and is not. The found set, what is it called? It's called the context, right? Another great concept of FileMaker that includes the found set. Okay? I think probably there might be other definitions. Could agree or not. If, for instance, the window is part of the found set, right? Or you could have a different, but I will be in this paradigm, okay, So what is the opposite of a found set? Very interactive session with a quiz and so on. What is the opposite of a found set? Yes, you've got to stand up and give the mic to anyone who wanted. Yeah. No? What is the opposite of a found set? No idea?
No records or all records.
Is it no record?
It would be the omitted set of records.
Ah. So the opposite of a record, is it no records? That was your first idea?
All records.
Or all records? So it's not when you have no records. I cannot change the order in the slides, so it's show all record state. Yes, that's the opposite, right? It's not when you omitted all records or where you have no record found. It's when you show all records. That's the state where you have no found set, right? I illustrate this by showing some pictures from the records menu in browse mode. Here are 4 different pictures. On the 2 first, you see I have some records in the table. The 2 on the right, there are no records at all in the table. So where do I have found set here? So second, only second? Last?
2 and 4.
2 and 4. We got a winner.
It says it up there. It's on the slide. It says found.
Found set. Exactly. So now so those 2 have a found set. The 2 others do not have one. Let's now explore the differences because it's very telling. So first of all, you have the color of only on the first one. There is no difference when you have no record in the table, but on the first, when you have record, then there is a difference in color with the circle, the blue circle, right? Then you have a divider. No, a total record, right? It's not a divider, you can guess, because otherwise the app would crash with dividing by 0. So it's the total record count, right? So there is a difference. It's not displayed when you have no found set. It is displayed when you have a found set. Next, of course, you have, as Ben saw, the found word. Right? And then when you have a found set, it says delete found records. And when you don't, of course, it's delete all records. And also the show all record is displayed when you have a found set, and it's not when you don't have, because it doesn't mean something, right? We didn't do anything. Okay, I think we are there. Okay, so we might want to explore that in the real world. I might be able to zoom in. So I have a table of 100 records. Yeah. So I have a script here that randomly creates a found set, right? And you see here, I have some found record. I have now this. I'm not going to spend too much time because these are all things you know. Just notice the color and the found thing. Show all. Now the color has changed, and I don't have the found thing. Well, everything I said earlier, right? So it's not the same thing if I do show all, you see, pale blue, and no found records, and if I do show omitted only, show omitted only, right? This is 100 out of 100. Dark blue, found records, right? It's not the same thing. Back to Keynote. So some takeaway. Show all records is different than show all records, then show omitted, then show omitted. It's not the same thing, right? You have all the records displayed in the end, but in one of the instances you have a found set, in the other one you don't. So the color is different. And warning, if you hit, at any point, if you hit a state where you have no records found, right, whether you do a request, perform find, or show omitted while you had all records found, you lose the sort order. This is something to keep in mind, right? So, the big difference is important because the found set is protected against records creation by other users. So, typical scenario, you want to run a loop on all your records to, I don't know, change some data. If you just do show all records and then go to first record and loop, nothing is preventing another users, or maybe 10 users, to create records, and your loop will never end, or it will keep processing new records, right? Whereas, if you isolate the records you really want to process in a found set, it's protected against new record creation. Okay, so very important, when you start working with a loop, or replace field content, or one of these things, make sure you know precisely on what record you're going to work, right? Which is a found set. Okay. Nothing can protect your found set against deletion, right? Another takeaway: the constrain or extend found set preserves the sort order, as opposed to perform find. Okay? But except if at some point in your search procedure or whatever, you hit the no record found state, and then you lose the sort order, right? So what can you do with the found set? There's a bunch of things you can do. You will learn nothing here, but it's just quite amazing what you can do. All the things we do daily based on the found set. First thing is the most obvious: we browse through records, right? We go to next records, we can select another record, and so on. Again, this is, this typical action is not common in the database things. Most database system, you've got to query again and again. With FileMaker, you just do your query, get the set, and go to next. And so, of course, you can automate that process by using loops. You can replace field content or relookup, which is just exactly the same thing with two different names, or almost, on the found set, right? So without changing the context, which means in this instance the record number, you don't have to navigate through records to replace. You can delete found records. Okay, again, if you haven't protected your found set, you might delete all records, and poor guys who are suffering creating new records, you delete them once. Okay, so again, make sure to isolate your found set. Another thing, you can connect email addresses through the found set, using the send mail script step. There's a you know, you can get all the email addresses on the found set. This is something I used for a very long time because there was no list of summary thing, so that was one of the ways to collect the data from the whole found set. You have very important, and one of the other great concepts of FileMaker, the summary fields and reports. Okay, again, based on the found set, summary fields will display some values that are dependent on the found set. You have this master detail portal feature, which is quite amazing also. I mean, with just a single layout object, you have display the found set, sort, I mean, which represent the whole found set, including the sort order and the possibility to browse through records just by dragging an object. Quite cool. You have this amazing, completely special function, getEndsRecord, that really works in a completely different way than any other function in FileMaker, right? So you can get a value. Of course, you can get ends record through relationship, but also on your current context, you can get value from another record of your found set, right? It's really working in a different way than any other function. So when I do tests, you know, it's very special. You have the good old copy all records, which nobody uses, but it's the fastest function ever in FileMaker. It's great. So build a layout with, for instance, only the primary key on it. Go to that layout, copy all records, in a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a second, you've got your million IDs in the clipboard. That's the problem. Is then what do I do with the clipboard? But by far the fastest way to get the value on a found set. You can import, and if you select the update options, one of the two update options, update or replace, only the previously found records may be impacted by your import, right? Which is very important. So this is, for instance, if you have to do updates on a very large table of millions of records, and you have to do updates, if you don't isolate the records that might be impacted, for instance, this year, you know, you want to import, I don't know, some reservation updates and so on. If you don't, for instance, there's no chance at all that an old reservation of 10 years ago might be impacted by your import, right? But maybe those last 3 months, there could be updates, right? So if you don't reduce the found set to that part, of course, because of the indexing, with, you know, the matching fields, it might take huge amount of time, while taking the time to, you know, select to have a found set of will reduce the amount of time. Okay, now export, print, save as PDF, also all of these are based on the found set, right? You can save a snapshot link. You can go to related records using the found set option. Very, very slow, completely bogus for more than 20 years. And get record IDs from found set. So this is the new feature in FileMaker 2025. Okay. There might be some other things I forgot. I woke up several times. Oh no, it's already there. But okay, now the challenge of save, restore, found set. I think for once I won't be late. Good. So first note, the context is saved, well, including the context, including the found set, of course, is saved on a local file. So if you close a file, reopen it, your found set is preserved, you get to the same layout, same record number, so the whole context is preserved, right? Another thing I should have said is the found set also, it's not on the slide. This is the one that woke me up this night and I couldn't find it back this morning. So it's when you create a new window, the new window inherits the whole context for the current table occurrence only. Okay, so if you have, let's say, found sets defined in different table occurrence, okay, and you create a new window, only the current layout or table occurrence will have this found set preserved. Okay, am I clear with that? Or maybe I could do a demo. So, okay, so let's create no, I can't because I have okay, no, that's a bad idea. Okay, I'll do it. An example, let's say you have a customer table and invoice table, right? In each of them you have a found set, which means I'm doing a find on my client layout, I'm going to the invoice, I'm doing another find. So both contexts have I have a found set. So of course, if I go back to my client customer layout, I still have my found set preserved, right? Now I'm opening a new window. I get the same found set for my customer layout table because I was there, but the found set for invoice is lost. If I go to the table, to the layout invoices, I get all records shown, okay? So this is something I should have mentioned in my slides, but it's something you get that the people who simply want to download files won't have. Privilege. So, first technique, very simple. Get a list of primary keys, right? So, how to get a list of primary keys? There are a number of ways, but you have this the summary field, summary operator, which is list of. Okay, it's one of the ways to collect a list of primary keys. It works on the current found set, or you can. No, this is completely untrue. What did I write here? You can't do that. It's list, of course, that I wanted to have, not list of. Oh gosh, I should update the file before people download it. That's a shame. Okay, so list. Oh yeah, that's this line here. No. What I want to say here is that, of course, as always, with summary fields, you can have it in the separate table, in the related table, right? So if you are a customer, you look at through a relationship to the invoices. If in the invoice you have a list of fields, you can get that from the contact layout, right? So, or you can loop and collect it in a variable, or you can use the send mail script step, as mentioned earlier, or you can use a recursive function or a while or get or custom list, which is another custom function. All these ways to collect, well, a list of IDs. Then you store that. How to store it? You can store it in a text field. It's a lot of, it's a huge amount of data. I don't recommend to do that. I recommend to store it as a container, in a binary file stored in a container. It's very easy now to write and extract from those files. It takes It's saved on the server externally. It's super easy. It doesn't eat up all the space on your database and index and so on. So you can store that. And then to restore the found set, what do you need to do? You need to get the content of the field, set a global field on the table, and use GTRR, right? Go to related records. That's very fast because it's working on the index, so it's very fast. But as you can see, one of the great things is it can work, the target can be a new window or the same window because that's an option of GTRR. But you lose the sort order unless you have a specific relationship to do the GTRR, you know, for each potential sort order, which is kind of improbable. And the problem with that, it has a really large footprint. You have a lot of things to do and add global field, table to store your things, and so on. It's kind of very FileMaker-ish way of, you know, you have a lot of things to do. You can't write just a script step like that. And you need to navigate. So change context to store and get your list of records. Of course, now with the data API script step, you have ways to avoid all these, execute data API script step. You have now plenty of ways to avoid navigating to get or store some data. Okay, the other technique. So I don't do a demo for the first one. Everyone understands that, or the rustling technique, named after his author, inventor. I think it's, is it Bob or James? Who remembers? I haven't met him for years and years and years. Okay, so the idea is you use GTRR on the table occurrence where you are, and you select a layout of another table occurrence. Okay, then go to the original layout. That's to store. Okay, so this is a very unknown, in fact, behavior of GTRR when you do it on the current table. It's quite fantastic. So I always explain the concept of the relationship graph in FileMaker as if it was a map. Okay, you are there. You go from here to here. Okay, that's how I think. Actually, it is exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. You are there, and because you are there, you can see this. And if you walk behind a mountain, then you can't see the same things. And you know, it's just exactly like a map. So here I have my table, which is records. This is my layout here is on that context, records. And I have here created, so this was for other examples. I have here found set A. It's the same table, of course. It's and found set B. It works also with C, but I didn't think it was necessary to illustrate that. Okay, so now I have a found set of 82 records, and it's sorted. I'm going to go to the 23rd record, and I'm going to do rustling. Okay, so rustling, I'm going to store found set A. Okay? How do we do that? All right, it's store found set with parameter of the A, and as you can see, it's really hard-coded here because go to related records, unfortunately, cannot be dynamically and programmatically set. You have to select a table occurrence, really. And what is it going to do? It's going to related records, but as you saw in the relationship graph, there is no relationship. So it's going to the table occurrence where I'm already, right, which is record. And but I'm going to a layout on another table occurrence, which is found set A, right? So I'm going to, and okay, another thing, I have to show related records only, right? But I'm not using the found set option. It's just a simple go to related record. Okay, and then look, I'm on this context A, this layout A. Well, okay, with exactly the same found set. Okay. So now in records and in record A, or found set A, sorry, I have exactly the same found set. And of course, I go back to my original layout because it's I could do, now I'm going to do another found set. For instance, I'm going to show omitted records. I go there, 13th record of 18, right? I'm going to store on B. Okay, so now where do we stand? Here in records and found set B, we have the same found set of 18 records. And in found set A, I have something different, okay? And now I want to restore those found sets. How does that work? Just exactly the same thing. I'm just going to restore A by first going to A, go to related records on the same table, records, found set A, selecting a layout of records, right? I'm back here with my original found set, okay? So, of course, I can restore B, restore A again. So, okay, that's the thing. So there is no storage, it's not stored in the database, it's just stored in this window, and this time, yes, you're right, in this window memory, right? Because if I open a new window, I keep, of course, as I said earlier, I keep in memory the found set for the current context, but not for the other ones. Okay, so this is the rustling technique. And now, was there something? Yeah, I wanted to go back here. So this is a restore procedure. And I can go, new or same window. Of course, I cannot, as I just said, I cannot open a new window, then do the stuff. But again, GTRR allows me to go to another window. So I could restore the found set in another window. That's something I could do. It preserves the sort order. But it has a large, very large footprint, right? For every found set you might want, you have to have a table occurrence and special instances in the script, right? So it has a limited, you can't use it forever, right? But yeah, nice. And also you need to navigate. You have to switch layouts and so on. Okay, snapshot links. I guess everyone knows the feature. I don't need to demo it, right? Okay, you just have a found set, sorted, anything. You should just save a snapshot link, store, for instance, the FPSL file in a container or on your desktop, whatever, and go back and go to original. Then you don't even need to do that. Why did I write this? Oh yeah, because if you store it in a container, you need to go back to original. And to restore, you get the FPSL file. You need to export it if you stored. And you need to export it and open the file. Okay? And then the file set will be restored. But then you have to do some window management, which is really hard because the scripts are not triggered, so you've got to use on-timer. It's really difficult. Why? Because you can use snapshot links only with a new window. When you open a snapshot link, it will open a new window. You have no way to ask it to open on the current window, which is a pity. You must have the status bar unlocked, open or unlocked. It's my fault, but I regret that I made that comment at the time, because I knew that many people had the security thing based on the appearance or not of the status toolbar, and that it would be dramatic if you could just open a snapshot to unlock that status toolbar. But yeah. Anyway, preserves the full context. Okay, so it has more information, such as the server address, the file name, so and the record number and so on. So it is really the full context. Also, you need to navigate if you want to store the snapshot in the database. Okay, and it's really, really hard to manage Windows. So it's not ideal at all. Okay, now, finally, the go-to list of records, which is the new thing appearing with FileMaker 22. Who already tried this feature? Yeah. Oh, there are people who didn't. So I will make a comment about it. So you get a list of records ID using a FileMaker calculation function. Okay, get record IDs from FoundSet with one parameter, which is type, which will very soon become 2 parameters. That's so great. I'll give you the tip in the end. So, and so you store a list of why primary keys? It's not primary keys at all. Sorry, it's record IDs. This is a big, big mistake, right? It's not primary keys. It's not data. It's record IDs, which is much, much faster. It doesn't call the data layer of the database, right? It's just the record ID. That's what FileMaker shows in the record count at the top of the. And then you can get that list and go to list of record, which is a new script step. So you have 2 new things: the function to get the list of ID and go to list of records, which is accepting any form of the record IDs as you can get from the function. Okay, the function has 4 parameters. The type. Sorry, the type can have 4 different values, which are basically a list of records separated by a carriage return, as FileMaker always does. The same thing as an array for, I don't know what reason, because we don't need that, but anyway. And the same 2 flavors, but with compacted intervals. So when you have, well, you'll see it. Okay, it's super fast. You can decide to go to the same or new window, and but you lose the sort order. We'll see that there's something very special, which is called predefined order. And you still need to navigate. No, but sorry, this is crazy. You don't need to manage Windows or anything. No, what did I do? Looks like a sorry, this is really a mistake. I will fix those slides before you can download them. So, GTLR. So I'm going to do just the same thing as with rustling. I'm going to store found set A. Sorry, and I'm storing here the found set, okay, as a list of records with parameter 2. So this is this. Why? I saved it as an array. You can save it, actually, I would not use it in real life, I would use it as a list of records, okay, simply. And that's the list of record IDs, okay? And then I'm storing that found set somewhere, okay, in a field or in the container field as before. And same with B, right? Okay, I'm just going, sorry. I'm going to do, that's too early in the morning for me, really. So, I'm going to store B now. And does it work? Yes. Yes, okay. And restore is that, okay? It's, I'm going to, the found set, which I called by name, I gave it a UUID, so I'm calling that found set. So I'm finding my found set in my found set database, my found set table, okay? Okay, this is the found set I wanted. I'm just loading the found set here in variable, and then I just go to list of records, okay? And you don't have to be on the same layout. I could just display a found set of any other table, right? Okay. So yeah, the storing and navigation thing here is only about storing the found set, okay? If you want to keep it in memory, in variables, it's possible, or globals. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, what is very funny with this is that you give it a list of records IDs in a certain order. There is no sort order. Okay, there is no, this is sorted by name. There's just a list of record ID in a certain order. Okay, which, by the way, is interesting because you could now present record in an order by manipulating this result of the function. You can present the records in any order you want, which is not something you could do with a sort order, right? So if you want, I don't know, for instance, cherry to appear before banana and then apple, right? This is not something you can do naturally by sorting, right? So you can do whatever you want, but then that's not a sort order, really, okay? So what will happen if I come here to the sort dialog, I will see here, it's a predefined order. Like, it's ordered, but we don't know how, right? Which is very different from sorting, which means there are things that are not available for that feature, such as reporting with subsummaries, for instance. You can't, with rustling or with anything GTRR, you can sort using the relationship, right? Here, you can't. There's no sort, right? So one day, I'm sure FileMaker Claris, they will give us a sort object, sort order object that we can, just store and restore but for now it's not the case. That's different with the snapshot link, by the way. In the snapshot link, you really have the sort criteria, so it's really sorting the records. Yeah. So, some takeaways. This is a function I published on Brian Dunning website, and or maybe it will open something. Yeah. So context gets JSON. So it's basically storing the not only the found set but also other elements of the and I have a last parameter here, sort order, which is null for now, but with the hope that one day Clarice will give us some sort order object. Okay. Yes, and I was discussing the type parameter before. So I always, for this type of use, I use 3. 3 gives you that type of result. It's a carriage return separated list, but compacted if you have intervals, right? So, for instance, if you have 1 million records in your table and you omit 1, right? There are still, I'm very bad at saying those numbers in English. You would still have 900,000, and so on, right? So that would be a huge list, several megabytes, right? Whereas with this format, it's very, very short list. And of course, go to list of the script step, go to record list is taking all those 4 formats are accepted, okay? As about the JSON thing, I don't know why we have that, because we have another function now, which is a make array, a JSON make array from a list that was sufficient, but anyway. And yeah, we are there. Do we have questions? One question there, in the back.
Now, if you have separated your app into data and UI, and you have different sort of UIs, files, could you, with this technique, could you sort of go from one UI to the other one with the found set intact?
I never understand why you would have several UI files if you do separation, but I reckon that this exists. And yes, because, it's exactly the same selector of layout as for new window or go to related records, where you can select, I think, external layouts. Not sure, we can check.
Yeah, the reason is because the AI files became too big and sluggish.
I lost my mouse cursor.
Yeah.
Oh, it's back here. So go to the list of records, and I think, oh no, you've got to be, no, you have to have you have to select an external layout to see that option. I'm pretty sure you can, just as with go to related record, but I can't test right now.
Okay.
There was a question here, I think.
Oh, just a moment, sir.
Wait, just for the mic.
Sorry. Just a comment that I make some tests, and for retrieving records, I didn't find any difference using primary keys and records ID. It was the same.
Because yes, when you go, if you compare the speed of go-to, it will be the same because it's working on the index. I mean, there might be a slight difference, but it's very fast. But collecting, in the first place, collecting the primary key is much slower than just the record IDs.
Even in this case, when you use, for instance, a a related table that is the same table just to get the primary keys only for the found set really is very fast. That is but I don't say that it's not a good thing. I say that I was expecting something faster than the standard technique.
But the index with FileMaker is very fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The other thing, I know that there is a bug using current layout. That means you need to specify all the time for the moment on the line and not using current layout, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true. There's a bug. It's fixed in use the ETS version. It's fixed. No, there's a new parameter to that function. You know, to the calculation function coming soon, which is you can add a relationship or a portal name, so you'll be able to get the record IDs through a portal, which includes, of course, the filter and sorting of the portal, which is so great. Yes.
Thanks, Fabrice. Sorting. I looked at the function. I said I tried it, but for reality, I'm not really using it because I always need the sorting, and I didn't really know how to deal with this, like, what do you say, predefined sort. So do you have like practical uses the way you're using it, or do you like use it, restore, and then do a sort that you stored somewhere?
Yeah, you need to restore.
Yeah, there's no kind of way around it. Yeah.
No. So
you need to somewhere have a parameter for what you want in your script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's an ongoing challenge since FileMaker, whatever, since it can sort.
So you start with go to related records, or
Any other questions?
But not really a question, but just because you didn't touch on it, I think this function, the get list record of IDs and go to the list of records, is really useful if you do something on the server to replicate your found set that you have on your client, for example, replicate it on the server, do some stuff, give it back. I think this is really where this function.
It's one of the main thing is just ask the server to process those records. It's very efficient. Also, interacting with, for instance, OData. OData is you really work a lot with record IDs, and so if you want to communicate back with the user interface in FileMaker, for instance, it's great. For just a use case recently, a third-party company had built some dashboards based on FileMaker data, and they simply, in their browser thing, they simply built they simply called a script like with FMP protocol and just pass a list of record IDs, and whatever the table is, the script just dispatches that and restores the set of records. So it's really, really convenient. Yeah, you could do it, of course, with primary keys, but now it's like really very, very generic.
Maybe a little strange question. When you use the function to get a list of record IDs and you store it somewhere, and then you have to, for update reasons, for example, do an export and import of your records, are record IDs preserved?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Record IDs are, it's just an internal system. It does not replace primary keys, right? Do not use it, yes. It's not because that now it's become more and more useful because of OData and those things. it's still an internal system. It has nothing to do with your data, right? And it should not have.
Just regarding to this that has been said, in case of synchronization, sync, you won't use those record IDs because they can be the same in two different files that you need to synchronize.
Yeah, not only can they, but will they? They will be
Yes.
the same. So
Yes, they will.
So no, of course it has to. Yes, there's nothing new on that. You're right. I should underline that. It's really do not use record IDs as a replacement for primary keys. Don't do that. Okay. Any other questions? Is it time? Okay.